I'm Steph Hodge with BoardGameGeek, here with Danny from Pandasaurus Games. And today we get to look at Ohanami. And I know that I got to play this game last year. I loved it, and I've been playing it ever since you announced that Pandasaurus was bringing it out because I have a copy, and I think it's one of the most beautiful, excellent drafting games about it. So tell me a little bit about it, Danny.
Sure. So I describe Ohanami as a relaxing and yet very competitive drafting game. So it's a game, and it has a very similar feeling to that, except you're drafting cards and you're playing in your own little space trying to beat everyone else. You're trying to make the best garden ever. So Ohanami means the cherry blossom viewing in Japan. So, every spring, the beautiful pink flowers bloom and it is gorgeous. So that is, we're trying to make our garden before those blossoms bloom, and it is a whole spectacle. So each round, we're going to draft 10 cards, and you're placing them in front of you into little gardens. Each player can have up to 3 gardens. So a garden is a pile of cards, basically. And similar to the game where you're trying to play cards in numerical order, your gardens also have to be in numerical order. So you can see we have 3 gardens set up here. So each new card you play is going to be played in one of these 3 gardens, and you have to tuck it behind or in front of cards that are already existing. You can't slot them right in the middle of cards that are already there. So it gets a little tricky as the game continues. There's different suits, different types of garden traits that you'll be drafting, and each round, new traits are scored. So the first round, only water cards will be scored. You see those blue ones, and they'll earn, I think it's 3 points each. The next round, water and green cards will score for the same points as the previous round, but the green cards are worth more. And you can see third round, rocks are now added for 7 points each. Now, as I mentioned, we're trying to finish our gardens before the cherry blossoms bloom. So cherry blossoms are only scored at the very, very end of the game, and that is the typical set collection scoring. The more you have, the more points they're worth total. Very simple scoring. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. It's the ladder climbing, the playing cards in numerical order part, that is tricky. So as I mentioned, each round you'll have 10 cards. You're going to pick 2, pass the rest to your neighbors. And each round the direction of drafting passes. If you can't play a card, you don't have to. You'll just toss it. You don't get points for it. When I play, that happens to me a lot because I don't play them very well, or I just get given terrible, terrible cards. There is hate drafting that can happen, but it's usually accidental because you're so focused on your own puzzle of trying to put the numbers in order that it would take a lot of effort to go out of your way to make sure your neighbor in whatever direction gets cards.
Well, you want to try and keep an eye on those pink cherry blossoms, because if somebody can collect all those cherry blossoms, that's a lot of points. So you want to try and mitigate that as best you can so somebody does it, unless you're doing it, in which case hopefully everybody else misses it and you get it.
Well, that's true. I am usually the cherry blossom hoarder, but that puts me in a pickle because I don't care about the number. All I see is beautiful flowers and I want them. Which means that my gardens end up being a mess. But it's fine. It's fine. It's still fun.
But it's still an organized mess. It's like organized chaos. Lincoln, do you want to just put out some cards in a line?
Yeah.
So we can kind of get like...
Well, here was my hand that I was organizing.
Oh, okay.
I had a lot of pink cards.
If you were to take the 7 and the 2, you'd probably put them in the same, because you want your gardens to kind of have like sections that you're working on, is how I find. Like, because if you have a garden of 7, 1, and 2, if you wanted a 117 card, you're gonna kind of ruin one of those gardens.
Right.
So I try and keep my gardens a little separate.
Like a low number garden, a high number garden, mid-range garden.
that's kind of where I try. I'm like, okay, so now when is that break? Do I jump from 83 to 50, and then I won't be able to draft anymore from 50 to 80 in that one garden? But is that okay? Maybe it's okay if I am working in the 50 range in another column. So
right. Yeah. So that it felt very similar to the game for me, except you're having that, ooh, do I mess up this pile here, or do I wait? Like, how can we fix this? But you're having that conversation with yourself instead of as a whole team. So for people who don't really like co-op games, this gives me the same feelings as the game, but you do want the best score possible by yourself.
So we're just about out of time, Danny. Tell us how we can get this game. And I'm a big fan. If you love drafting games and small card games, this is perfect for any like collection. And so, how can people get this game?
So it's releasing on October 28th for $15 at retailers across the nation. You can pre-order it from your favorite store or go to our website, pandasaurusgames.com, and place a pre-order there.
Excellent. Ohanami, I can't recommend it more. I love taking 2 cards too, so I like that. It's so fast and fun. So I'm glad you could join us today and show it off a little bit, Danny. You've been a great pleasure. All the games you showed, so check out the game, quick and easy, robots, and Gods Love Dinosaur. Dinosaurs, all coming out really soon. So it's a good time to be Pandasaurus Games.
For sure.